Well, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020. We're here at the Fort Worth Aviation Museum, home to the most touchable warbirds in Texas, and we're here for another installment of Fun With Aviation. This morning, the weather has permitted, and so we're going to get a chance to do a walk around on our TA-4J Skyhawk, and also talk a little bit about our restoration process and how that works. So for now, I'm going to put it on the airplane and not me. So there we go. Here's our Douglas TA-4 Skyhawk. This one is a two-seat version, trainer, and we're going to talk about the color of the airplane in a little bit. But airplanes were built, first flight was in 1959, and they continued to build the airplanes until 79. They were operated much longer than that, most notably with the United States Marine Corps, a lot of different forms and variations. The Navy flew them, Israeli flew them, Argentina flew them, lots and lots. Singapore's flown them. Lots and lots of countries have operated this airplane. They flew them in Australia. So it was a very popular airplane. It was very unique for the period of time when it was originally built. And so we're going to go ahead and start to take a little bit of a closer look. The airplane stands up real high, as you can tell. That was for a number of reasons. Number one is the airplane was referred to as the Scooter, or the Heineman's hot rod. Heineman was the gentleman who invented the airplane, but one of the goals of the airplane, or one of the stated reasons for the airplane, was so it could carry a nuclear weapon. No internal bomb bay, but it would go ahead and it would carry one externally. So you needed a high landing gear to be able to have ground clearance for that weapon underneath the airplane. Airplane was also designed so as one of the safety features in the event that you had problems with the landing gear and couldn't get it down, because there were manual ways of doing it for free fall, but if it wouldn't, or if you'd only get a partial gear extension, you would almost always see these airplanes with drop tanks on them. And the idea was to land on a drop tank and then be able to continue to operate the airplane very short period of time after, minimal damage. Saw that a number of times in Kingsville, Texas, where I flew these airplanes for approximately 500 hours or so over 3 years as a student back in the early 70s, but also as an instructor with Training Squadron 22, or VT-22. So one of the things we're going to talk about here, this long probe, we get a lot of questions about this long probe out the front of the airplane. This is the refueling probe. Many of the airplanes now have refueling probes that are internal. They go in and out. But with the Skyhawk, it sat right out here in front, and you were able to plug the basket. It was fairly simple to be able to refuel with this airplane, as opposed to some of the others. The F4, for instance, the refueling probe came up right next to the head of the pilot. So if you were looking at the probe and trying to put it in the basket, you would miss a lot. But with this one, very easy to just drive the airplane right up into the refueling basket and push it forward. So any questions at all here during this process this morning, go ahead and just raise your hand, or just go ahead and put your question out there, and we'll answer it the best we can. So again, this airplane, the TA-4 Skyhawk, it is very similar to all of the other versions of Skyhawks. I'm going to show you a little bit of the wheel well interior here. Big long landing gear. The biggest difference between this one and a regular A4 is that this one has two cockpits. Now, that was done initially for training, but these airplanes were also used in Vietnam as fastback airplanes. The Marine Corps started the fastback program with TF-9 Cougars during the war, and quickly converted over to the TA-4 Skyhawk. A little bit more reliable airplane, more capabilities. The backseater would normally be an artillery officer, an aerial observer. But here, as we walk around, we're going to talk about restoration. And the only way we can truly tell people what these things look like is showing them before and after pictures. So this is the before picture. This airplane was a gate guard over at the JRB, and this was the color scheme when we first got it here. Desert tans. Airplane actually never served in these colors. This was something that was done just as a gate guard for a commemoration over at the JRB. But here is the paint scheme that this airplane served in. It served with the VT-7, and as you'll see here, this one says Trey Wing 2, USS Lexington, and it was also with VT-22. And this is the color scheme that we're going to be returning it to, a gloss white and orange. A lot of work goes into the preparation of this. Okay, for some reason I'm being told that this is on my personal account and not the museum account. So I'm going to stop and restart very quickly. So just hang in here.